4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I'm Doug Brown. The Dolphins can clinch a playoff spot with a win Sunday and a Broncos loss. But Miami will likely play the Jets without quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who has a hip injury. As for Denver, here's ESPN's Chris Canty.
All they had to do was win one of their final 3 games to get into the postseason. Lost against the Chargers, winnable game. Lost against the Bengals in overtime. If you can't beat the Carson Wentz-led Kansas City Chiefs at home, when they have nothing to play for, that is an embarrassment.
Chris Canty on Unsportsmanlike. The Jets interviewed Mike Vrabel today for their open head coaching job. He's the former coach of the Titans and the second known candidate, the other one being former Panthers and Commanders coach Ron Rivera. Interim coach Jeff Ulbrich says he expects to interview next week. The Titans will go with quarterback Will Levis to start Sunday against the Texans. Levis was benched 2 weeks ago against the Colts in favor of Mason Rudolph.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Monday, I'll recap the last weekend of the NFL during my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6 right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After Further Review.
Say it one more time.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I promise, I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. I tell you what, after a long work week like this, I am just plumb ready for the weekend. Muse, Paulie, you guys ready for the weekend? I mean, what a long week this has been.
I am ready for the weekend, although I'm still confused on what day it is.
I mean, this has been laborious.
Yeah.
I mean, a real heavy lift for your boy today. 2 weeks off coming in. I'm ready for a break. I'll get it after 3 hours of radio. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Okay, a plum ton to do today. Theriot will be in a bit modified. We'll have Theriot for 1 hour, but at the bottom of this hour. So 3:30 Central to 4:30 Central, Theriot will be here. We'll do Ryan's Letter, Kick Rocks, all that good stuff. My Triplett, who we missed yesterday, will be here in hour 3. I do have to. Oh my God, I do have to talk. There was some football on New Year's. There was football on New Year's Eve, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
LSU played.
LSU played.
We'll talk about that.
Playoff game.
There was a playoff game. There was something else on New Year's Eve, wasn't there? Let me go. Like, it's been a few days. Let me go back, Muse. I'll just have to take some time throughout the show to remember what happened on New Year's Eve. We'll get back to that.
I'm here to help.
If you jog my memory if you can think about it. We'll get to it. I'm sure.
Okay.
We got time.
Yeah, we do. 3 hours.
A long runway.
Yeah.
3 hours here.
There you go.
I look forward to it. LSU wraps up the 2024 season with a win in the Texas Bowl over Baylor, 44-31, a game that was not close. Baylor got within 14-7 in the second quarter. They scored in the first play of the second quarter. After that, they never got within a touchdown again. Even when it looked like they might threaten at the end of the first half, boom, Xavier Thomas, kickoff return for a touchdown. Tigers went right back up by 20, and they just rolled in the second half. The win-loss result of a bowl game does not always equal success or failure the next season. You could look at any example you want to prove or disprove that theory. I've used this one a good bit. Nick Saban in his third season in Baton Rouge. They were 8-4. They go to the Cotton Bowl, play Texas, lose to finish 8-5. Oh, the horror! A 5-loss season next year. Natty. 2015, the LSU Tigers played in the Texas Bowl, blew the doors off of old Patrick Mahomes and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. A year later, they lose the opener at Lambeau to Wisconsin, and within a month, Les Miles is fired. So it's the result of the bowl game just it doesn't really tell you anything about what's going to happen the next season. Of course, you would always rather win, and LSU did in this situation. But for me, it was more about the individual performances coming out of this game that were encouraging as we look forward. After the game, Brian Kelly talked about Trey'Dez Green, who was probably at the top of this list. And he talked. This is number 2. He talked about Trey'Dez in a manner that really puts into perspective his performance.
You saw a true freshman in Trey'Dez Green, who, in many ways, how do you put it in perspective that he made you forget about Mason Taylor, who is an incredible player because of the plays he made on 4th down and 3rd down.
He made you forget about Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor? I mean, you were talking about the greatest pass-catching tight end in LSU history. But he's not wrong, because that was a giant concern. With no Taylor and with no C.J. Daniels, who would be the security blanket? Trey'Dez Green caught 6 passes. 5 of the 6 came on 3rd or 4th down. His first reception was on the opening possession when they faced a 4th and 5. Boom, 6 yards, moved the sticks. So, undeniable. And by the way, the one reception that Trey'Dez had that was not on a 3rd or 4th down was in the second half. It was a 1st and 10, 21 yards, his long reception. So Trey'Dez was awesome. 6 catches, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. For what it's worth, Mason Taylor had 2 touchdowns all season. Trey'Dez had 2 in the first half against Baylor. Also, there were only 2 games all season where Taylor had more receptions in a game than Green did against Baylor. Against USC, he had 8. Against UCLA, he had 7. There was a couple other times he had 6, but that's what Green matched him with. So if we wondered if Trey'Dez could play attached tight end, he did. By the way, the other thing that might have been most impressive about Green, yes, the pass-catching component, but you had to play him attached so you weren't predictable by personnel. And Brian Kelly gushed about the preparation that Trey'Dez made and did throughout the dozen bowl practices.
Trey'Dez is an incredible competitor. The work he put in the bowl prep was second to none. His mindset, his want to go in there and mix it up and run block. As you saw, we didn't treat him like a wide receiver. We treated him like an attached tight end. I mean, he lined up in the core. He lined up in the slot. And I said this to you folks, we weren't going to treat him differently. We were going to treat him like it was Mason running that position. And, he had to get sandpapered a little bit in practice. I mean, he went home a couple of times, and I'm not sure that he made it past 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. He was sore. But that was just what his commitment was. And pretty proud of him.
Should be. It's another reason to feel super optimistic going into next year, because now you're adding Bauer Sharp, who is another attached tight end. And think about all the time that Kelly wants to use 2 tight end sets. Now you can. You can feel like Trey'Dez Green's on the field, and you are not predictable by personnel because he'll run block. Chris Hilton is another one that deserves all the flowers. 4 catches in the game, all 4 in the first half. He averaged 28.3 yards per reception. Again, illustrates and justifies and validates all the conversation we had about Hilton after his injury in fall camp, because we talked about him so much in fall camp because he looked awesome. And you've seen it now over the last 3 games. Touchdown against Vanderbilt, 2 touchdowns against Oklahoma, was a breath away from 2 touchdowns against Baylor, but he was awesome. And now you think about that guy returning, in addition to Aaron Anderson, Xavion Thomas, Trey'Dez Green. Oh, by the way, you had Nick Anderson and Berrien Brown. And yeah, you feel really good about that group. That doesn't even include the freshmen who redshirted this year. Guys like Kylan Billiot, Jelani Watkins, who could add even more depth. Kyle Parker coming off of injury. Yeah, I think LSU's receiving core, their pass catchers, with Nussmeier slinging it, you feel like you're in good hands. Congrats as well to Garrett Nussmeier. Goes over 4,000 yards passing for the season. The only other quarterback in LSU history to do that, the great Joe Burrow, who threw for 5,000 yards, like 5,600 yards, actually, something ridiculous like that in 2019. Hat tip to the offensive line. You're down 3 starters, only 1 guy in his natural spot. That was DJ Chester. No sacks, only 3 TFLs for a total of 3 yards lost, and only 3 quarterback hurries throughout. They chipped on every play, but that is a really good sign for 2025. You bring in Braylon Moore, who's going to play center. You bring in Josh Thompson from Northwestern, who can play guard or tackle. I've been told there's another silent commit at tackle on a current playoff team, who maybe there's a little bit more starting there. We'll see if they can bring that one home. But even if not, that's 2 or 3 offensive linemen out of the portal, in addition to Tyree Adams, Paul Mabenga, Bo Bordelon, who played well, Cohen Eccles, who rotated at right guard, DJ Chester, who started every game for you at center, could play guard, Weston Davis, and then you're bringing in 5 stars like Carius Kern and Solomon Thomas, who might be plug-and-play, ready-made interior players. The point is, you're giving Brad Davis this big ball of clay to mold next year. You may start only knowing Braylon Moore is going to be your center, and everything else is up in the air. But my goodness, look at the pieces he has to work with to put that puzzle together. You should feel really optimistic about that offensive line. Defensively, the Whit Weeks injury sucks. Brian Kelly did give an update. Actually, Brian Kelly said post-game that it was a dislocation. But Wilson Alexander tweeted on Thursday an injury update. Now, this was not confirmed by LSU, but Wilson tweeted an update that Whit underwent surgery on Thursday. Here's the tweet. To repair a broken fibula, did not suffer ligament damage, which is the great news. Expected to make a full recovery in a few months. So the thought of having Whit Weeks back for spring, very much realistic. And that's a huge exhale moment. You know, when you look at linebacker, LSU didn't add a linebacker in this portal cycle, which tells you with Whit Weeks, West Weeks, Devon Keys, Tylen Singleton, Charles Ross coming in, that's 5. Then Harold Perkins coming back, and I've been told Perkins is going to play star, but if you need him to be versatile, he can be. It tells you they feel good with the linebackers they have, the fact that they didn't go address that in the transfer portal. So, and you look at this team, while I don't think anybody is going to throw a ticker tape parade or be super fired up that LSU beat Baylor in the Texas Bowl. Winning a game to finish the season is far better than going into the offseason with a loss. And more than anything, you can look at what's been built. Top 10 recruiting class, the number 1 portal class in America. You're going to finish that with a safety and possibly another offensive tackle. You're going to go hire a tight ends coach, which whomever you hire, there's always good vibes around hire. So that's going to be lauded whenever it happens. You're going to be a preseason top 10 team. You've got the best quarterback in the SEC returning. Jalen Milroe's going pro. Carson Beck is going pro. The expectation is Quinn Ewers goes pro. Jackson Dart's out of eligibility. You're going to have the best quarterback returning in the SEC next year, the number 1 portal class. You will be a preseason top 10, possibly top 5 team next year, but certainly a preseason top 10 team with all these giant expectations. That's going to be an awful fun way to go into next season. So a fun way to end this year for LSU with the big bowl win over Baylor and all the good vibes going along with it. All right, plenty to talk about the game, the season, going into the offseason. We'll get to all of that. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with Bud Light, the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the Saints. Shout out to our friends over at Mockler Beverage. Actually, I was able to go to the Sugar Bowl yesterday. Mockler has a suite in the Dome. Was able to sit in the Mockler suite. Just great friends and partners, and we love telling you about them every single day. So you're going to be celebrating this holiday season or kicking off the new year, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints, and the official beer of AFR. Okay, quick break. When we come back, another LSU player did enter the portal. Talk about that. We got the Saints injury report, updates on Carr and Kamara. Final practice of the year for the New Orleans Saints was today on Friday. We'll tell you who was there and who wasn't. It's AFR.
AFR.
Kicking off the new year and proud to kick off a new year with our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 locations, Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every single day to buy local and shop local. Didn't get what you want for Christmas? No worries. They got it at Clegg's. Just pop on by. Maybe you got a Clegg's gift card. Go spend it over at Clegg's. As we move throughout this new year, it's a great time right now with this colder weather to get those citrus trees in the ground. So if you want one of those citrus trees, go plant it in your yard now. Great selection at Clegg's. And that's something that will provide generations of enjoyment for your family and future generations of your family as well. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Of course, anything else you may need. The wintertime bedding plants, if you're looking for those, all your mulch and your soil and all the gardening tools you need, they've got it. And they're better than anyone. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Another LSU player entered the portal on Friday, and then a player who's in the portal announced his destination. We'll get to that here in just a quick second. Saints had their final practice of the 2024 season here on January 3rd of 2025. A walkthrough on Saturday. They'll play Tampa on Sunday. But Darren Rizzi confirmed Derek Carr will not play in the finale.
Derek's going to be out for the game. We did try to simulate, what a game-like situation would be for him. I think I mentioned that. We already tried it once before. We did try to inject the hand and see if he could function, and we're just not there yet. And as I mentioned for the last few weeks, we didn't want to put him out there in a situation where he couldn't function fully. So
Carr out. Rattler will make his 6th start of the season. Kendre Miller also out with the concussion he suffered last week. The other question was Alvin Kamara. Here is word from the Rizzler there on AK.
Alvin, we're going to try to put through some things in the morning. Right now he's doubtful, but we're going to try to put him through some game-like situations in the morning to see if he can operate and function as well. So we're going to wait on a decision on that one.
So Alvin Kamara, of course, notably 50 yards away from his first 1,000-yard season of his career. He would love to reach that benchmark. We'll see if he can get out there and play. Feels unlikely, but we'll see. He's listed as doubtful for the game on the official report. The other one that's interesting is Chris Olave. Hasn't played since suffering the injury against Carolina where he was carted off the field. Very scary moment, no doubt, but has been practicing the past few weeks. He's officially listed as questionable for the game. So upgraded status there for Chris Olave. And Darren Rizzi talked a little bit about how they got to that designation.
I think it's all encompassing. So like I said, we'll discuss that here later on today and tomorrow. And listen, Chris has been in great spirits since he's been back. He's had some really good practices. He's moving around really well. It's just a matter of whether or not we want to get him out there in a game or not. We'll see how we play that one out.
Peyton Turner was limited. He's questionable for the game. Pete Werner upgraded to a full participant. He's also questionable after suffering the concussion, so we'll see how it goes. But as of now, Carr and Kendre Miller out. Alvin Kamara doubtful. Chris Olave questionable. We'll see what it all may be whenever we actually get to the game on Sunday against the Bucs, and the season will mercifully end. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Do want to talk about this other LSU portal news. Big shout out to Supper Club here as we start 2025. So many people celebrated the Christmas holidays, ringing the New Year's with our friends over at Supper Club. What a great time here as we start the new year, to start something new, to experience something new if you never have before. Get on by and see our friends at Supper Club. You can get your reservations at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Listen, we talk all the time about the amazing world-class steaks that they have. And if you want a steak, of course, the Japanese Omi beef. They've got so many of those that Wagyu. I mean, things that you could literally only get at a handful of restaurants in the entire United States of America, right there on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. But, man, you want a piece of sea bass? Well, the best piece of sea bass you ever have in your life. They have a veal parm, which is divine. They actually bake the cheese in a separate skillet and lay it over the veal chop at your table. So that way the veal chop maintains that crispness of the fried veal. You've just got to try it. It's Supper Club. Book your reservations at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. That's supperclubbtr.com. Kimo Makanaioli entered the transfer portal on Friday. Remember, the portal window closed December the 28th, but every team has 5 days after their bowl game to enter the portal. So there will be two teams that play for the national championship on January 20th. Those teams, their players will have until January 25th to enter the portal. So while the portal window is closed, it's extended as teams finish their bowl game. So it's not completely over as we hear names of guys entering the portal, and obviously there will be declarations of where people are going. But Kimo Makanaioli becomes the latest LSU player to enter the portal, the 18th LSU player to enter the transfer portal here in this cycle, offset by the 14 portal additions for LSU. But if I had one surprise about Kimo, it's not that he's entering the portal now, it's that he didn't enter the portal after last season. One of the things we often talk about with guys at a program like LSU, this isn't just unique to LSU. I mean, elite programs like LSU, where every year you're churning out top-tier recruiting classes. If you haven't gotten a foothold into a rotation and become a contributing player by year 3, it's probably not going to happen, because you have 3 recruiting classes behind you of talented players trying to take your job. There are exceptions. Lloyd Cushenberry is maybe the most notable exception that we talked about. Didn't play his first 3 years. By year 4, won the starting center job, became a 2-year starter, national champion, a 4th-round draft pick, and when he signed a deal with the Titans, was the highest-paid center in the NFL. So that happens. It's just uncommon. So when Kimo, redshirt, he was a 3-star coming out of the state of Florida when he signed with LSU, played both sides of the line in high school, came as an offensive lineman, redshirts in 2021. In 2022, plays in 5 games, just 30 snaps, all of them on special teams. Last year, played in 4 games with 37 snaps on the season. that's where it was maybe a little surprising that he didn't exit, considering you had 4 starters returning, right? I mean, you had Campbell and Emory Jones and Dellinger and Frazier all returning. There was no path to the field for Kimo. So he flipped to defensive tackle, where you had a very real need on the defensive line, and he was there to provide depth. But even coming out of spring, when Brian Kelly said point blank, the biggest glaring need, the must coming out of spring last year was defensive tackle, and they went and added JVR Suggs at that point. And Gio Paez had been added as well. It was just pretty clear that he wasn't going to factor into the rotation on the defensive side as well, and he didn't. So in this year, in 2024, Kimo did play in 9 games, but only 41 snaps on the whole season. So Kimo exits, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful to Kimo. I mean this just through the lens of LSU. The fact that Kimo Makaneoli, who's going to his 5th year of college, is leaving is probably a good sign for the defensive tackle room. The other bit of news on Friday was JVR Suggs. So we knew JVR Suggs had already entered the portal, but on Friday, JVR Suggs announced his commitment to Wisconsin. So from whence Gio Paez came, JVR Suggs is now going. And when you look at JVR Suggs, of course, came to LSU from Grand Valley. This year, Suggs played there were 6 games this season. 6 of the 12 games that Suggs played. 6 of the 12, he played single-digit snaps. So, let that sink in. In half of the games he played this year, he played single-digit snaps on the interior of the defensive line. You see, Suggs established himself as a singular role player. His role was interior pass rush. He wasn't an every down player at defensive tackle. He was an interior pass rusher, and he was really good at that role. 2.5 sacks, 3 TFLs, 11 pressures, 7 quarterback hurries. He did his job exceptionally well. He was always one of the highest graded guys on Pro Football Focus when we talk about that every week. It's just that he had a very limited role on this team. And so the fact that these 2 veteran guys are leaving, I think, is a good sign for the defensive tackle room. Because if there was a bigger role for them in 2025, they'd be staying. But the fact that there isn't a bigger role for them in 2025 probably suggests, let me say this the other way. The fact that they're leaving suggests there isn't a bigger role for them in 2025, which I think also tells me Bo Davis is pretty excited about the guys he has. Remember, coming out of the spring game last year, Brian Kelly said point blank, they had to go address defensive tackle. They had to go address defensive tackle. And they did. They added Suggs in the second portal window. But that was a must. That was the most glaring need. Coming out of this season, defensive tackle wasn't your biggest weakness. You got very, not dominant, but serviceable play from Gio Paez, from Parrish Shand, who played on the inside, from Ahmad Bro, played really well as a freshman, from Don McKinley, who grew up in the second half of the season when he came up off the toe injury. And I think what that suggests is Bo Davis is really encouraged by the guys he has. Jacobian Guillory's coming off of injury. That's almost like getting a portal player. Can we agree to that? I mean, Guillory was on the roster, but he didn't play for you this year. So that's almost like adding a player out of the portal in Jacobian Guillory. Don McKinley, Ahmad Bro going into their sophomore seasons. You did add Sadir Mitchell from Texas, 6'6", 330. Bo Davis had him at Texas. He's entering his 3rd year in college, so another big dude that can be part of your rotation. Sean Washington will be back. He'll be a redshirt junior, so a 4th-year junior. Played in a dozen games this year for LSU. So, that, and then you're adding 4 freshman defensive tackle signees. I mean, that's 9 players right there on the interior. Can you find a rotation of 4 or 5 guys on the interior among those 9? My guess is Bo Davis is thinking he can. So you never want to see guys leave. Sometimes when guys leave, it's an illustration of what you have and what's there on your roster. And I think at defensive tackle, in a calendar year's time, really in less than a calendar year's time, Bo Davis, well, Bo Davis in a calendar year. Remember, they hired Bo Davis last January. In a calendar year, Bo Davis has taken that room from the biggest question mark on the team to certainly not a question mark. Are they going to be dominant like we've seen championship defensive lines in the past? I don't know that. Maybe. But dramatically better than where you were a calendar year ago or even 6 months ago coming out of spring ball. Defensive tackle was the biggest concern for LSU. It certainly is not anymore. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by our friends over at Don Juan Cigar Bar, title sponsor of our Friday shows. Big shout out to Don Juan. They were our hosts for Whiskey and Wine all throughout this season. And so grateful for our relationship over there. You want to go watch the games, you can. Premium cocktail, smoke on a cigar. Of course, Don Juan Cigar Company, the retail shop right next door there in Town Center in Baton Rouge. Get on by and see our friends. Tell them Matt sent you into Don Juan Cigar Bar. All right, abbreviated Friday with Theriot. We'll knock out a break, come back. Theriot will be with us here for an hour from when we come back until after Kick Rocks. So we'll do Ryan's letter in 30 minutes, Kick Rocks, then Theriot will bow out of here about an hour from now. But Theriot's in studio with us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
As we start a new year with new beginnings, we have new partners on the show as well. And I am thrilled to be able to tell you about our friends over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. You can start at the website at yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. You know, I've told you for many years my own personal journey with hormone therapy. And it's something that I know for a lot of men, there is this sort of stigma associated with it. But if it's hormone therapy, if it's ED treatments, there's so many ways that you can improve your quality of life, your vitality. A lot of times you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. And a simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone therapy or maybe for any of the number of ED treatments that they have at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. It starts by reaching out. Go to yourgoodwood.com. That's yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Rode along here, Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Mr. Theriot's in studio with us. We'll do the Ryan's Letter and Kick Rocks and all in the next hour, but little abbreviated Riot Radio hour today because the Theriot girls have soccer today. Hey, how are you? Happy New Year. His mic's not on. Yep.
I'm doing good. Happy New Year to you as well.
You think Muse is the one on vacation for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Forgot you had to push the button to turn the mic on.
I haven't been on this side of the desk in a while.
I'll tell you what. Man, that is a good point.
New Year was good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Today finally got back to some normalcy with the routine and all that. I don't do well. I don't do well at all without a set routine.
Oh, I know this.
So
my contention, I tell people this about you all the time because I think the way I phrased it to you before, like if you were to rank the world's population like 1 to 7 billion on the ability to call someone back, reply to a text or an email, be on time. Like if you were ranking the world's population, Theriot would be like 6,839,417,222. Like that's where you fall. You're very bad about that.
Not good about
because, and here, this is my theory. I've theorized this about you. From the time you were a kid until the time, how old were you when you retired? 2012. So you were 34. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So from the time you were a kid until your mid 30s, like you were always told what to do all the time. Fair?
Yeah, and like when to do it,
when to be on the bus,
where to go,
where to drop
wear.
your bags, what to wear, what time to be at the field, bad, like boom, boom, boom. And then it's like, you're 34, 35, you retire, and it's like, all right, good luck with life.
Go get them.
And so I just think you didn't have that independent structure in your life for a long time without sports. And so that's you do much better with structure. I think a lot of people do much better with structure. Do you think that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, like if you wrote me a list right now of things to accomplish, it doesn't matter what they are. I'm going to get it done.
They'll get done.
It'll get. I'm an itinerary. Walk in the room, look to the right, read the itinerary, figure it out guy. I mean, and Jonna knows that about me too. Like if she really wants me to do some stuff, it's in a list form. And the holidays throw that off because you don't have to be anywhere, really.
I know.
Now, the days that I have to do things, I got it. Like it's boom, 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 boom. If we're decorating or taking things down, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I need to put some boxes in the attic, and I kind of hurt my back. Can you come help me?
I got it.
Can you come help me?
I would actually enjoy it.
There's like a dozen boxes, all of Erica's holiday
if
stuff,
you'll let
Christmas
me organize
stuff.
it when I get up
Oh,
there.
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can absolutely do that. I mean, I just get up and I just slide it
Don't
across.
even go all the way up in the attic.
I just slide those plastic boxes across the plywood, just as far as it goes. But I have to go in there and then stack them high because there's a lot of them in there. But I really did tweak my back, getting everything, like getting that shed where the attic access is organized. And so I kind of need some help getting that stuff up there.
Got you, bro.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'd appreciate that. We're going to do Ask Ryan here in about 10 minutes. So get your question. We're flipping things around a bit because Theriot's got to go to the defending state champion.
Back-to-back
Defending state champion Theriot girls. Back out there with the Flying Squirrels trying to get another one this year. Yeah. Can we tell the news yet?
Not yet.
Okay. When can we tell the news?
Next week? Friday. It'll be perfect.
It will have already happened, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can't say it till it happens.
I don't want to say it till it happens.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't want to say it till it happens.
You know, Erica was conversing with Johnny yesterday about something. Did y'all get it figured out?
Yeah, and I was the one that was on that, by the way. I'm like, Jonna, like, what are we going to do? She's like, oh, I'll call Erica. Seriously, she said, I'll call Erica. She's got it figured out.
Okay.
Like, okay.
That's good news. I'm excited about that news. So we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, it's good news.
Okay, but we can't spill the beans yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
All right, so we'll do Ask Ryan here in less than 10 minutes. So get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. I want to ask your opinion about something from an athlete's perspective that I put on Twitter during the quarterfinal game between Texas and Arizona State.
Right.
And overwhelmingly, Twitter completely crushed me and disagreed with me. There was a call at the end of the game with Texas and Arizona State where Arizona State is driving for a potential game-winning score. A Texas defender hits a receiver, looks like letter of the law textbook targeting.
Mm-hmm.
Flag's not thrown, but they go to review. They review it. They come back, no targeting. People are incensed. I say we've seen this all year.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. Like, if you're actually paying attention, the instances of targeting have decreased every year since 2020. Mm-hmm. Each year, the number of targeting calls has gone down since 2020. And the point I've made is targeting is the worst rule ever. We can all understand the spirit of the rule, right? Make the game safer. You don't want dangerous plays in the game. But by the letter of the law, there's absurdities like the Devin White play that everybody talks about.
Correct.
Like, in no way should that be flagged or should he be thrown out of a game. But letter of the law, that's targeting. And what we've seen, if you're actually paying attention, is a lot of those, it's not universal, but a lot of times officials are taking those matters into their own hands and inserting some subjectivity and picking up those flags. And I think that's what happened in that ball game. I gave two examples that involved LSU earlier this year. One, Whit Weeks at the end of the first half against Ole Miss. There was a play where he targeted Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart was sliding. He was defenseless. Weeks came over the top of him, crown of his helmet, hit Jackson Dart's helmet. Weeks should have been out of the game.
Yep.
Went and looked at it, nothing malicious. The quarterback lowered the target. Weeks was not doing anything malicious, but there was contact. Letter of the law should have been out, but they let him stay in the game. Right call. There was a play on the sideline against Alabama where Alabama's defensive back, number 18, I forget his name, but number 18 for Alabama, Josh Williams was on the sideline in the flat, was going to catch a ball, was turning, defenseless receiver, 18 from Alabama, boom, hits Josh Williams in the head, no foul. Okay. Like, letter of the law targeting, but they didn't throw it. My point is, that is happening in darn near every football game you watch. That moment against Arizona State and Texas was heightened awareness because everybody was watching that key moment.
Sure.
But what you saw has happened all season. And I'm okay with officials not throwing that flag because there was nothing malicious in that moment. And until they institute a flagrant 1, flagrant 2, like in the NBA, I don't want guys, I don't want something so punitive where guys are thrown out of the game. So if the officials are going to take this into their own hands, great. Now, people are going to say, well, why not change the rule? They never will, because if you do, you're opening yourself up to injury lawsuits like the NFL had. And they settled $1 billion concussion lawsuit. So they're never going to make a rule that makes the game perceived to be less safe. So they're never going to change the rule. Instead, officials are just going to do this on their own.
Right.
And I you may disagree with it. I'm okay with it.
So, yeah, I mean, I was watching the game, obviously, and fully expected a flag to be called. But I'm with you. I hate the rule. I wish the rule would have never been put in place. I want to go back to the days where you could knock somebody's head off. Like, that's the defender, the one that is doing the targeting, is running the risk of hurting themselves as well. Like, they're going to have to make a decision. This is really going to hurt. I'm going to hit this guy with my head, the crown of my helmet, and I might hurt myself. I'm either weighing whether it's worth it or not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the game will police itself. The kids or the athletes will police themselves, or they won't, or they're going to get hurt. But you're right. The rule's there. It's not going anywhere. I hate it for Arizona State because all of us who have seen those plays, like you mentioned, called targeting, you go, oh, man, this could change the whole game. This team could win. I hate Texas. I want them to win. The little running back that looks like a leprechaun, I want him to win the game, like whole thing. And
Scadaboo.
Yeah.
The running back who looks like a leprechaun.
I mean,
it's like if Muse was jacked and was athletic and had a beard.
It's a leprechaun on Windstraw. It's really fast.
But see, there's a lot of qualifiers.
A lot of qualifiers. Basically, I just called you short, Muse.
Yeah, that's really all. Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
And not jacked.
And not jacked at all. And no beard.
All of those things are true.
I know. They're so true.
But yeah, man, I mean, I hate the rule. I hate the call. I hate the rule itself. I hate targeting. I think it's dumb, but it's here and it is what it is. But no, I'm with you. I agree 100%. I'm glad that there wasn't one thrown, and I hope that they use discretion. But it is dangerous when you allow the referees to make that call.
But they're doing it.
Because he could have thrown the flag there. Nobody would have said a word. Of course it was targeting, or not.
It's obvious. And the numbers bear it out that is what's happening. They are calling it less. And there are tons of examples. Now, I want to be clear. I am not saying that not throwing the flag was the right decision because of where it happened in the game. Because there are people who say, well, if it's a flag in the first quarter, it's got to be a flag at the end of the game. I'm with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think you change the rules at the end of the game. Now,
do you think that was a flag in the first quarter?
No. That's my point. I think they're and this isn't a new conversation, by the way. T-Bob and I have had this conversation multiple times throughout this year on Whiskey and Wine with post-game instances like this. So we've talked about this throughout the year. There's a giant spotlight shown upon it now because of the moment in which it happened. But there's two things that I would argue are happening with officials. One is targeting. Two is indisputable video evidence. They are now using common sense instead of saying there has to be indisputable video evidence. The touchdown that Baylor scored on the first possession of the third quarter against LSU, there was not indisputable video evidence. It was called a touchdown, and they overturned it because while there wasn't you could pretty much tell, but it's not indisputable. Like, the fact that you could have a conversation about it suggests that it is disputable. But they overturned the touchdown. Like, I think those two things are happening in college football right now, where refs are wink, wink, nudge, nudge, taking things into their own hands. And I think it's a good thing.
I'm with you.
Wow. Can't believe we agree on that. But it's after, you know what else we agree on? Evermore is awesome.
Oh, Evermore is good.
It's so good. I love how many people, I really do, how many people are sending me, like, pictures and tweets and texts. And, like, some guy was at a restaurant, and the bartender had a bottle of Evermore, like, behind the bar, just next to the cash register. So whenever she was drinking, she'd grab. So he's sitting at the bar, takes a picture of the bottle of Evermore at the cash register. It's like, hey, Scone, look. I'm like, love it.
It's everywhere.
EVAMOR. Drink Evermore. You can order it online. Find it at great local retailers. Find the retailer nearest you at evermore.com. EVAMOR, evermore.com. Okay, let's wrap up hour number one. Theriot's here. We'll do Ask Ryan to wrap up hour number one next. Then Ryan's letter kick rocks, and then Theriot's got to get out of here to go watch flying squirrels whip a little tail in soccer. So get your questions in for Ask Ryan next on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, you told me several months back that, one of your companies was trying to find some project managers and stuff like that. Y'all ever find the right people for that?
Time will tell.
I don't know. It doesn't really sound
Time will tell.
Perhaps you should have called Glow Resources, because I'll tell you what happens with Glow Resources. 96% of the time when Glow Resources helps you hire someone for your business, 96% of the time, big green check mark. 96% satisfaction. In the very rare instances where it doesn't work, Glow Resources will give you a prorated refund, or they'll help you find a new employee at no charge. It's Glow Resources. You got nothing to lose. All you have to do to gain is productivity in 2025. If you're looking for the right people for your business, Glow Resources can help. Check them out online at glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Man, tell you what. Boy, weekend can't get here soon enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Been a grind of a week for your boy over here. Just.
I think William Smith.
AFR.
Gotta watch the clock there, dog. Sorry, bro. That's all good. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. How about this? New year, new ride. Get on by South Point Volkswagen. They've got the all-new, all-electric ID4. You could lease it for 24 months for $149 a month. Wow. Check that out over at South Point Volkswagen. If you've ever wanted to drive an EV, if you're curious, you know what's crazy about those things? Brother, when you tell it to go,
oh, yeah,
dog, they get up and go. You wouldn't, I personally just wouldn't have thought EVs have that kind of or not horsepower. It's just that type of giddy up and go. The power. Oh, they do, dog.
And you don't have to put gas in them either.
You don't. They also have the all-electric ID Buzz. So you remember the Volkswagen Bus?
Mm-hmm.
They've got the ID Buzz, the electric bus. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. The World Series champion Dodgers will re-sign outfielder Teoscar Hernandez to a 3-year, $66 million contract. Down to 4 teams now in the college football playoff. Notre Dame is a 1.5-point favorite on ESPN Bet against Penn State next Thursday. And ESPN's Joe Fortenbaugh doesn't quite know what to think of the Nittany Lions.
I've seen Penn State in 2 big games. The Oregon game on a neutral field, they lost by a TD. The Ohio State game on their home turf, they lost by a TD. And then there was a close encounter where they didn't cover the spread against USC on the road. So I find myself thinking, how much do I actually upgrade Penn State given the fact that they handled the business they were supposed to handle?
Joe Fortenbaugh on Greeny. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa will likely sit out Sunday's regular season finale for the Dolphins against the Jets with a hip injury. With a win and a Broncos loss, Miami would get into the playoffs. Right now on ESPN, North Texas leading Texas State 14-6 second quarter in Dallas.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Monday, I'll recap the last weekend of the NFL during my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6 right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Louisiana boy, yeah, they call him the Riot. Born and raised in the swamps, on the fight like a tiger. He going beast mode, baby, he a beast though. What you think he supposed to do? You picture better reload. Yeah, the boy.
After further review, the Riot Radio Hour with Matt Moscona and Ryan Theriot, presented by Alpha Customs. Alpha Customs, Prairieville and Lafayette, and online at alphacustoms.net.
Well, how's your week going?
Week was good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but good. I'm full of good ideas.
Here comes Theriot. The throw, not in time. Scudero delivers, and the Giants lead 4-3 in the 10th.
The wave pool, although probably full of bacteria, flesh-eating parasites, and the occasional turd, provides endless hours of fun. It's not cool to have a 30A sticker on the back of your grocery go-getter. Big fan of the truck.
The Riot Radio Hour.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt. Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Theriot.
Shut up.
Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Yeah, brah!
Yo, bruh.
An abbreviated Friday here with Mr. The Riot. He's been hanging out with us for half an hour already. We got Ryan's letter. We got Kick Rocks, and he's got to go watch Flying Squirrels play some soccer with
Flying Eagles.
Nope. Sorry. For me, for our purposes and context, they will always be the Flying Squirrels.
Flying Squirrels.
I've told you, if Macy and Georgie, if they're competing in the Olympics for the United States of America, for me, they'll still always be the Squirrels. It's a great mascot. I love that so much.
The Flying Squirrel, or just the Squirrel? The Squirrel's a good mascot.
Yeah. How about, so do you remember in Mighty Ducks 2 when they got to play in like the Goodwill games? Do you remember Mighty Ducks 2?
Not really, but.
All right, so Mighty Ducks 1, they're a crappy team.
Yeah.
Gordon Bombay coaches them, they win.
Mm-hmm.
Mighty Ducks 2, they get invited to be Team USA for the Goodwill games, the Goodwill Junior games, and then they get these other hockey players from around the country. The guy that was the cowboy and the girl that was a really good goalie, and then they got the knuckle puck kid and all. Anyway, and then the one guy that was like the Bash brother guy. Anyway, well, they stunk because they couldn't all gel.
Right.
And so then they brought out the new Duck uniform. So they were Team USA, but in the second half, they came out as the new Ducks and old Ducks combined under one banner. And that's when they brought the new Mighty Duck uniform, and that's what the Anaheim Ducks wore. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
So if Team USA in the Goodwill games, the junior games, could come out in Mighty Ducks uniforms, then when Macy and Georgie are competing in the Olympics, they're Squirrels. They're
Flying Squirrels uniforms.
See?
It's a good logo.
See what I just did?
Mm-hmm. I got it.
Pieced all that together. So how's your day? How's your week? I haven't seen you. Well, I have seen you, but not here on air. We haven't done radio in a minute. Since before Christmas.
Christmas was wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. It's a little bit different. We did not do the New Iberia thing.
¿Por qué?
We went to the hunt camp in Mississippi instead.
Oh, ¿por qué?
We're selling some houses down in New Iberia. It wasn't quite ready and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it worked out wonderfully.
Good.
Other than the tornadoes and stuff that were cutting through. But and then New Year's was very chill. All the kids went to parties. It was just John and I at the house, and we cooked and hung out and all that stuff. And so that was good. But the time in between Christmas and New Year's is what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
December 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th suck. They're really bad days. I don't like them at all. Do you keep the decorations up? Do you take decorations down? If you take them down, does it make you a Scrooge? If you leave them up, are you the tryhard in the neighborhood? I always feel great walking into my attic, getting the nativity scene out, and putting it out in my front yard. Yes, I do that.
Good.
It's light up nativity scene. And I do that, Jonna and I, because Mary's awesome, Joseph is awesome, baby Jesus are awesome. And we light them up. I kind of feel a little bit sacrilegious putting them back in the attic. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like that. It happens in between those days. Okay? I don't like putting them back up. Normally, I take my Christmas tree with the lights on it and I throw it away with the lights on it.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the lights off.
I don't hate that idea.
That's fast and easy, but it never fails.
I'll spend $40 on stringy lights next year to not have to unwind and tangle them in store. I tell Erica the same thing.
It never fails that if I do indeed try to take the ornaments off and help with that process, I drop one that's sentimental to Jonna and she ends up yelling at me. It happens every year.
Oh, no.
So that's another thing that stinks. Finding a place to put presents that you receive that you don't really want and you'll never use, that sucks as well. I hate to be this way, but I don't like clutter. I don't like having things out at my home or in my vehicle that I'm not going to use, okay? And I've gotten to the point in my life where I just throw that stuff away. A person can only use so many electric toothbrushes, right? Or like soap on a rope. Like, don't give me presents like that.
Soap on a rope.
People still do that.
Soap on a rope.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm not going to use it. I've got 11 crock pots sitting up in my attic. Like, it's like you get the same. So that time in between Christmas and New Year's, you're having to deal with the things you don't want. And it makes me feel bad, Matt, to throw them away or to re-gift them. I do both.
That feels like a you problem, though.
It may be a me problem.
By the way, I mean, the Christmas season does extend beyond January 1st.
I mean,
so the religious holiday is until, well, in the Catholic tradition, it's till the Epiphany, which is this coming Sunday. So you're good to leave up all your Christmas stuff until this coming Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not Catholic, but yeah, I get it. Another thing,
my point is, like, there's nothing wrong.
Like,
with
I can leave that stuff
up.
up,
Absolutely,
and no big deal. But I don't want to leave it up though.
Did you just see it? Did you get a text from Erica?
No.
Mm.
She's on me. Another thing that happens on the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, or 30th. Nobody knows what day it is.
And now that's true.
I mean, okay. This is the biggest problem with that.
That is true.
The trash people are the only folks that know what day it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank God for them too.
They're the
shout out to all of the trash collectors.
And you can bet your ass that they will be on time. They're going to be early. Yeah. If it falls after Christmas, if a trash day is, they're going to be there. They're going to be early. All right. And this is why this sucks, because people don't know what day it is. They forget to take their trash out. And then you've got garages all over the country that are overflowing with wrapping paper and,
boxes of your presents.
And presents that I don't like that I'm throwing away and like all that stuff, because the trash guys, they know what day it is.
All the trash from when you had family over, celebrations, you got bags of trash.
On bags.
Yes, so we got to remember.
But you don't, though, because those days you forget. Yeah. Stores that should be open aren't. The only place to eat out pretty much in that time frame is Waffle House or IHOP, which is okay. I like both of those.
I love Waffle House. Ain't nothing wrong with a Waffle House.
Nope.
Bro.
And I do have an idea, though. What I think should happen in these days is I think we should take Thanksgiving, which is the worst holiday that we celebrate, and we need to sandwich that. I would recommend on the 28th. In between Christmas and New Year's, put Thanksgiving in them and just knock it all out, and it would keep everybody sharp and locked in.
No.
It's kind of my idea.
No.
Sincerely, Ryan.
Moving Thanksgiving is a terrible idea.
No.
I was with pretty much everything you said except that. No, that's a terrible idea.
You don't like that?
No, because we have a month-long holiday celebration, and we're relitigating this whole thing again, but you may not like why Thanksgiving came about or whatever. That doesn't change the fact that it's a Thursday where people get the day off of work and they bring families together.
I mean, I like coming together as a family, but you don't need Thanksgiving for that.
It's a point where on the calendar you could say you don't need that, but you do, because people work and you get in your lives. It's a point to stop and say, go be with your family.
Thank you.
Get out of your routine. Give thanks for the things you have.
You know what I do like about Thanksgiving, though? Going around the room saying what you're thankful for. Are you thankful for my mustache that I got right now? And my new haircut?
I was trying not to bring that up.
Watch this. What do you got on my mustache? It's a real mustache.
It's not just the mustache. It's the whole goatee, and there's so much wrong with it.
It's a real. Look at my hair.
I mean, you look like Captain Morgan.
I love Captain Morgan.
The fact that your mustache and your goatee don't even come close to connecting. Get that again, Paulie?
Oh, I can connect it.
Look, it doesn't even come close to connecting.
I can connect it. I choose not to.
No, you can't.
Yes,
and
I
you
can.
have the little soul patch right there under your lower lip. I mean, that is I don't.
What do you got on the haircut?
I'm neutral on the haircut.
Be honest.
I'm neutral on the haircut because.
Watch this.
Yeah. I mean, you look like you're parking in Westmoreland before senior day at Catholic High. That's you getting out of your Jeep with the rag top down.
But you can't have the mustache at Catholic High, though.
No, you can't. No. But the hair.
You can have the hair.
That's what it looks like. You're gonna go be a.
So you're off my facial hair.
Terrible. And you've had some bad facial hair. Over
This is a bad look.
The length of the goatee, which I didn't even notice last week. You must have done this in a week.
This is new.
Yeah.
It's a new. With the mustache by itself, watch this.
Yeah.
What about this?
Terrible.
Muse. Be honest.
I mean, you keeping the little soul patch right there?
Yeah.
No, that's bad.
All right.
That's
All
actually
right.
that's actually worse than the combo you have right now.
Now watch.
No, that's not good either.
It's a tough crowd.
If you like it, okay.
I mean, I don't know if I like it or not. I like the way it feels on my lips.
It's terrible. I mean, I was going to tell your facial hair to kick rocks when we come back. I may still do it. It's AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Maybe you were driving and you saw Theriot's awful facial hair. You were distracted and you ran off the road. That might be your fault. Well, that might be your fault. But if you've been injured in an accident, you need representation. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. There's dozens of different types of cases that they handle. I know we talk a lot about car wrecks and big truck wrecks, but there's also personal injury, offshore, maritime accidents, workers' comp, wrongful death, slip and fall accidents, Social Security, disability, plant accidents, motorcycle accidents, rideshare accidents. They even handle immigration law, hurricane claims, so many industrial accidents. Get Gordon, get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
I pull up in that yard, 240 on the dash. Smart gangster, I can make a treasure out of trash. Son and knees, they respect me like a.
All right, Theriot's here. One more segment. He's got to get out of here. Go watch the Theriot girls whip a little behind in soccer.
Yep.
But we've got an order of business to manage here before we do that.
Okay.
It's called Kick Rocks. Hit it, Muse.
It's time to kick rocks with Ryan Theriot.
Kick Rocks.
Presented by Ruckus.
Ooh, Ruckus.
Kick rocks with shoes from Ruckus. Jones Creek Road in Baton Rouge, or go to ruckus103.com.
Tom Brady can kick rocks. That's a standing kick rocks, but this one's
a perpetual kick rock.
Kick rocks.
Did you prepare?
Yeah. Okay, you can kick rocks for being a middle midget.
Kick rocks.
Costing your team 4 points.
They can kick a whole bag of rocks for that.
Get on down the road and kick rocks.
Ooh, I just pulled up ruckus103.com. You know I love some Air Force Ones. I got the Phantom Summit whites in. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at those, bro.
Look at the orange Vans, though.
See, that just goes to show the difference between you and me. Look, that's me right there, son.
Those are good looking. That's a good looking
me.
shoe.
That texture on there. You're looking at the Vans. This is what you were at right there. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I like those a lot too. Ruckus103.com. Those are good.
That place is so good. I mean, it really is.
I was there last week.
I did a lot of Christmas shopping at Ruckus.
I bet you did.
Like I always do. And they got some cool spring drops coming out too that I'm fired up about. Go check them out. Ruckus103.com. Go holler at the guys over there. Baton Rouge and Lafayette, by the way. Yeah. You can shop online, but I would recommend you going inside the store. And get the full experience, not just shoes. They got all kind of stuff. I'd go check them out. The Saints coaching search can kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
Because they're going to hire somebody stupid. I know that that's going to happen.
I know.
Partly because there's nobody good out there really to hire. Nobody really makes me excited. But more than that, they're going to hire somebody stupid. I know they're going to. The Saints are going to stink forever so they can kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
I don't know if they're going to stink forever, but I don't trust Mickey Loomis to make this hire. That's my real problem. There's all these reports now that he's going to hire someone that he knows. And it's just like...
Of course he's going to hire somebody that he knows.
The more the sample grows with Loomis, the more it suggests that winning the championship was an outlier. Like, that was the exception, not the rule. The rule is what we've seen him do with this organization in the 14 years since. You heard me say that right. 14
since they won?
years.
Well,
14 years.
He's gotten some passes. I'm not going to say it's easy to do what he does. It's not. You look at what's happened to the Patriots.
Excuse me. 15 years.
15.
Hashtag Matt.
Since Brady and Belichick are no longer there, or since Brady left, since Drew Brees left, since Sean Payton left. It's hard to do. It's hard to replicate it. But I think the recipe for success is very simple. You got to go get a really, 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 really good quarterback. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care what you do. You got to go do that.
And so they go spend $100 million on
Right.
Derek Carr.
The Bengals stunk, but they got a really good quarterback, and then they're in the playoffs. It's real simple.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin can kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
Still complaining about not being in the college football playoff in the postgame. I mean, I get it. You got a good team. You beat up on a terrible team, though. It's over. You didn't make it. You should have won the games that you were supposed to win early, that you could have won
Kentucky,
early.
Idiot.
If you just do that, then you would have been in, Lane.
Yeah.
So stop complaining about it. You didn't make it. It is what it is. Good game. Shake hands and go home. And the last one that I have is probably going to piss some people off, but fireworks can kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
I don't know if I'm getting old or whatever it is, because I used to be a firework guy. I now hate fireworks. I think they're super dangerous.
When did you love fireworks?
When I was a kid.
When you were a kid.
When I was a
think it's
kid,
normal. I think
I
kids
loved
love
fireworks. I did. I'd go to Crazy Dave's, buy one, get 15 free or whatever it was.
Crazy Dave.
Yep. And we'd buy a bunch of fireworks. I would actually take my birthday money and I'd go buy fireworks.
Oh, God.
I love fireworks.
Why would you? And I mean, that's
Terrible choice.
terrible choice. You were literally. Well, you're not literally setting your money on fire, but you're spending your money to buy something you were going to set on
Setting
fire.
on fire. Yeah, that's right. They're dangerous. You're burning. You're just burning money. I mean, people's houses get caught on fire every year. People burn themselves. They're loud. My dogs hate them.
Yeah.
Fireworks are stupid.
I don't understand.
They're dumb. Dumb.
It's such an exorbitant waste of money. To spend money on something that's going to explode and be done, I don't get it. And especially to what use it's hazardous, it's
Super dangerous.
I'm like,
everybody's drinking on New Year's Eve and fireworks. Like you read about something or you hear about something every year. So stop doing it. Fireworks are dumb. Do something else.
Yeah.
Grow a mustache. Grow a mustache. I don't know.
That doesn't feel like that's a good solution. The mustache isn't a good solution.
Yeah, maybe not. That's
if
what I
you're
got.
a thrill seeker, that's not what you're going with. All right. We're brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com. ParrishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. What we got going on over at Parrish right now?
Parrish.
Slinging roofs?
Yeah, yes, 100%.
Slinging hats?
Parrish was preparing for 2025 for a long time in 2024, and there's a lot of excitement around that office right now. There's some good stuff coming, residential, commercial, industrial, the whole thing. Parrish has staffed up on all fronts to be a major player in the construction and roofing industry in Baton Rouge. Just really excited. It's really about the folks in the building, and you look around and you have superstars everywhere. It's gonna be a good year.
A lot of bad weather around Christmas. If you had damage to your roof, think you might, we'd love to come help you out. We always say do business with someone you know. That's me. That's Trash Dash over here.
McGillicuddy.
McGillicuddy.
Trash Stash McGillicuddy.
Braceface McGillicuddy. Tilly, Joe Morales, Trent Davis, our whole crew. We'd love to help you out. Do business with someone you know. ParrishBuilt.com. ParrishBuilt.com.
Hey, Coach Kim Mulkey told you to.
She's on the homepage of our website. There she is right there. Yeah. Go to ParrishBuilt.com. There's a video on the homepage of Kim. Like, we've done a lot of work for Coach and for her family over the years.
Yeah, Coach Burtman as well.
Yes. If you're a championship coach, you call Parrish.
You want to win a championship, call Parrish.
That's what you do. ParrishBuilt.com. ParrishBuilt.com. You got to go. Before you go real quick, LSU basketball against Vanderbilt tomorrow. You going to watch them?
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Well, will I do that or not? I don't know, but you've got me kind of excited about them with the record and all that stuff. So, yeah, if it's on TV, I'm going to watch it.
It'll be on TV. LSU gymnastics tonight against Iowa State. They're going to unfurl the banner. They're going to raise the banner for the Natty from a year ago.
Very exciting.
Long way to go until April.
Yep.
Haley Bryant's got a little elbow injury.
She's going to be though.
She's back. Everybody's back. Haley's back.
Whole team back.
Aaliyah Finnegan's back. Connor McClain. Sierra Ballard. I mean, they're all back. And, oh, by the way, they had, like, Olympians as well. They're going to be legit again, dude.
It's going down.
Olivia Dunn, IGDFR.
What?
IGDFR. It's going down for real.
Okay.
Women's basketball got a big win yesterday. Blew out Arkansas.
Saw that. Watched that.
Flaugier.
She's a monster. And then Sunday, big game at the PMAC, the women.
Yep. The Flaugier and Chris Hilton went Instagram official.
I saw
Power
that
couple.
too. I saw that.
So is Flaugier, Chris Hilton the new Olivia Dunn-Paul Skeens? LSU power couple?
Yeah. Think so. With the game that Chris Hilton had.
Yeah.
Coming out party. And then, Flaugier is going to do her thing, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it could be. Now, next year, we'll see. They could take that power couple thing to the next level if he goes off. Which I expect him to. I think he's going to.
It's like Swagoo and Aisha Spears.
I don't remember that one.
Well, Marcus Spears?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Aisha Smith, his wife, was part of LSU's first women's basketball Final Four in 2003.
Really?
She was a forward on that team. She was awesome. She was a starting forward on that team. Their daughter was just named the National Volleyball Player of the Year. Signed with Texas. Like the #1 player in the country in volleyball. Signed with Texas. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Marcus and Aisha? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mentioned?
Yeah, no. It's
Cedric and Marie?
Yep, Cedric Harris and Marie Ferdinand.
I mean.
Yep.
Just breeding the next generation of awesome LSU athletes. Let's go.
Listen, those two, and I'm not gonna. I don't want. It would be an impressive, some impressive offspring for sure.
All right. See you later. Go Flying Squirrels.
It was fun.
All right. That's Theriot. We'll continue. Reaction to the college football playoff quarterfinals next on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. Listen, low tonight of 48 degrees. We are into the winter months, which means you're going to be cranking up that heater. If you have an issue with your heater, call my friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. It's simple. Go read the reviews. They've got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor. Because for 40 years, River City's 1 Hour Air has been servicing our community, and their systems and protocols are better than anyone's. Like when a technician's coming to your house, you will get a call, a text, and an email alerting you the technician's on the way. It'll tell you the name of the technician. It'll give you actual reviews of that technician as well, and their picture so you know exactly who's coming to your house. And they'll always do amazing work. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
College football playoff quarterfinals in the rearview mirror. I think all the hand-wringing, I think what we've seen is that it's working. What so many people, all of us collectively as college football fans, are going to have to do is start to reprogram your brain. college football has been victim for 100 years. Fans, you have all been brainwashed for 100 years to believe the nonsensical garbage that you've been force-fed about the most meaningful regular season and all that trash. Which none of that is true. You have a regular season in college football polluted by point spreads north of 40 points, rent-a-wins, garbage games, cupcakes, inadequate and inequitable scheduling from conference to conference. Some leagues play 8, some leagues play 9. No divisions anymore. You don't know who's the best in a league because you have these super leagues where everybody doesn't play everybody. It's like college football thrives in spite of college football. Because for 100 years, all the old rich people that run college football have found ways to be old rich people and want to stay old rich people. And we're getting there. We're getting closer to what is an actual fair, equitable, appropriate system. But as a sports fan, not as a college football fan, as a sports fan, you understand what works because you watch the NFL and you don't complain about the NFL postseason. And you watch the NBA and you watch Major League Baseball and you watch the NCAA basketball tournament and you watch the College World Series. Like you watch postseason in literally every other sport in the world. And you don't go, I tell you what, man, that NCAA tournament, really exciting, but it would be way better if they just went to 4 teams. Just let the committee pick 4 teams. We don't need, do we really need the 1 versus 16 matchup? I mean, there's only been 2 16s that have ever won. Just do away with that. We really need the 8-9 matchups. None of those teams are actually going to win the championship, so don't even play it. Do you see how absurd that sounds? The NBA. Do we really need the 1 seed versus the 8 seed? They've played those 80 times, and you've only seen an 8 seed win that series 8 times. You don't need that. Do away with it. The wild card in the NFL, who needs it? They've had the wild card since 1970. A wild card team wins a Super Bowl about once a decade. Do away with the wild card. It's stupid. It's absurd. Nobody would ever say that. So why do we say it about college football? No. Have an actual postseason like every other sport in the world. And we're getting there. And by the way, this is working. And you can talk all you want about the results of the games. Do you argue against the round of 64 in the NCAA tournament because a 2 seed has only beaten a 16's only beaten a 1 2 times? No. Yes, blowouts happen. Happens in every sport all the time. But the bottom line is, in the ridiculous formats we've had in the past, if you just went according to 1 versus 2, the national championship game would have been Oregon-Georgia. They're both eliminated before the semis. If you're in a 4-team playoff, Notre Dame and Ohio State, 2 teams in the semifinals, would not have even made a 4-team playoff. So yes, this is working. By the way, Arizona State, Texas, double overtime. Pretty good game, wasn't it? Pretty entertaining. Nobody gave Arizona State an Ice Cube's chance in hell of winning that game. And after 2 plays, it sure looked like everybody was right. And then a funny thing happened. They played the next 58 minutes of the game, and that wasn't enough. It had to go to double overtime to find a winner. Because you tee it up, you kick it off, you let coaches coach and players play and actually go play a game to see what the result will be and let someone earn it instead of arbitrarily deciding it with a bunch of dopes in a hotel ballroom arguing things like game control and defensive efficiency. No, how about we let Cam Scadaboo go play and show the world what kind of football player he is, because that's hella entertaining and way better than a committee deciding things. Yeah, play games. And as a matter of fact, 12 ain't enough. You might go to 14. You'd be better at 16. Get to 16. I'll tell you what I want to see tweaked. Because there's this argument right now that the teams that had the bye were at a disadvantage because 4 teams that had the bye lost. No. The disadvantage was the seeding was stupid. Boise, as a 3 seed, was ridiculous. Arizona State, as a 4 seed with a bye, was ridiculous. Oregon deserved the 1 seed, but their quote-unquote reward was they got to play the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee. Ohio State was a 6th-ranked team in the country. But that's not how it was seeded because of the stupid buys. Because you're trying to pretend like Boise winning the Mountain West was somehow the same, or Arizona State winning a bad Big 12 was somehow the same as winning the Big 10 or the SEC. It's not. Seed according to the rankings. And then after the first round, reseeded. That's how it should be done. If you had done that, you would have had a much more more appropriate bracket. Like, here's how it would have looked. Had you seeded the teams according to rankings, the first round would have been, you would have had your 4 teams that would have had a bye, which would have been Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Penn State. The top 4 teams, they would have had a bye. You would have had Notre Dame against number 12 Clemson, number 6 Ohio State against number 11 Arizona State, number 7 Tennessee against number 10 SMU, and number 8 Indiana against number 9 Boise. That would have been the first round. If chalk held, the round we just saw, the quarterfinal round, would have been number 1 Oregon against number 8 Indiana. That's a much better draw for Oregon, isn't it? To play Indiana instead of having to play Ohio State. Number 2 Georgia would have faced number 7 Tennessee. Number 3 Texas would have faced number 6 Ohio State. And number 4 Penn State would have faced number 5 Notre Dame. So 2 of the matchups we're getting in the semis would have gotten in the quarters. You'd have better teams advancing further. Unless if there are upsets, which could happen. But it's far more appropriate. So no, having a bye isn't a disadvantage. It's all about how the bracket is seeded, which has to be done appropriately. And they'll tweak it, and they'll make it better, and they'll get there eventually because we're making progress, and we're getting there. We're not there, but we're making progress. 12, as we have today, is better than 4. 4 was better than the BCS, and the BCS was better than letting fat sports writers and the president, like Nixon in 1969 or whatever it was, just determine a champion because that's what he said. It's just stupid. It doesn't happen in any other sport in the world other than the sport you and I love. I've said it every day I've ever been on air and ever been talked about this. College football isn't great because of all the systems. College football is great in spite of itself. College football isn't great because of the stupid postseason format. College football isn't great because of those types of things. The inequitable scheduling, all the stupid things that we have. College football is great in spite of that. It's great because of the passion we all have for the sport in our schools and our teams. And nothing can dissuade us from that. That's why people who wonder, like, oh, is NIL or the portal going to ruin college football? No. Because it's not why you love college football. You love college football because there's nothing on earth that could keep you on a football Saturday from watching your favorite team. We plan weddings and childbirth around college football schedules. A player making NIL money or a transfer player coming in isn't going to stop that. Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels were transfers, by the way. Did you watch 2019 going, man, this sure is a lot of fun watching Joe Burrow, but he transferred. It's absurd. Just enjoy it. I'll watch the games in the semis and be really interested. Notre Dame's defense is legitimately good, and not legitimately good by a Notre Dame standard. It's legitimately good by any standard. The problem is they really struggle to get separation to throw the ball down the field. Georgia's going to kick themselves. When Georgia was in the red zone going to score, the fumble, that cost them points. Kirby's decision to throw the ball with 30 seconds before the end of the half, leading to that strip sack and the Notre Dame score before half. The kickoff return for a touchdown. Georgia hits a 60-yard pass, but you have sideline interference. So instead of having the ball at the 10, you're bumped back to the 20 or the 11. You're back at the 26. You settle for a field goal there. Georgia had to play a nearly flawless game, and they did anything but, and it cost them. It really cost them in that game. So Notre Dame, Penn State will be fascinating. I know a lot of people have asked the question, is Notre Dame better off now with Marcus Freeman? He's done more than Brian Kelly did. My response to that is, first of all, I think Marcus Freeman's a really good coach. He's done a fine job. But there's a few things worth remembering. Number one, Freeman inherited a program that was number 5 in the country. Brian Kelly's Notre Dame, his last team at Notre Dame in 2021, they finished 5th. They were one spot away from being in the 14 playoff. That was a very stable situation that Marcus Freeman inherited. Brian Kelly inherited a very unstable situation from Ed Ogeron, a team that had back-to-back seasons where he finished one game under 500 or one game over 500 collectively in those 2 seasons. I guess they were 11 and 12, weren't they? They were 500, then a game under 500. Either way. 5 and 5 and then 6 and 7, wasn't it? Yeah, so you're one game under 500. That's one. 2, while Notre Dame has won 2 playoff games, they're only now into the Final Four, which Brian Kelly did twice in the playoff era. Now, he didn't win a playoff game. They lost to Alabama and they lost to Clemson. But he also had Notre Dame in the BCS championship game in 2012 where they lost to Alabama. So Freeman hasn't done anything yet that Kelly didn't do in South Bend himself. If Freeman manages to beat Penn State, get to a championship game, win it, that would be a great moment for him and for that program, which hasn't won a championship since 1988. You're talking nearly 40 years since they've won a national championship. So much so that I was at the game. I was at the Sugar Bowl. And many of you know my brother's a Notre Dame alum, and his son, my nephew, were with him, and a lot of his friends were with us as well. And it was so funny to watch all of these 40-somethings, these Notre Dame alums that have never in their life experienced Notre Dame win a championship. And they were all so nervous and outside of their minds, just hanging in the balance on everything. And I was watching them going, oh, yeah, I remember that feeling. I remember what it was like when my school hadn't won anything in a long time, then finally did. But it'll be interesting to see if Notre Dame can get over the hump and beat Penn State. I think Penn State offensively is a much better team offensively than Notre Dame, but you've got 2 really good defenses. We'll see how that plays out. And in the other semifinal, boy, when Texas is right, they're really good, but Ohio State looks like they're playing at a different level than everybody right now. So if Ohio State replicates what it did against Tennessee and against Oregon, against Texas, Ohio State should win that game in Dallas pretty easily. But they'll play next week. See Thursday and Friday how those games will play out. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Friday edition of AFR. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. If you didn't get her what she wanted for Christmas, you can make it right. You can get by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 9 locations in all, 2 in Baton Rouge, Corporate Boulevard in Bocage, the Mall of Louisiana location as well. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. You can always shop online at lmfj.com, lmfj.com. When you're buying a diamond, you're seeing a lot of ads for man-made diamonds, these artificial diamonds, lab diamonds. At Lee Michaels, they will never sell a lab diamond. This isn't a science experiment. It's a diamond. It's a symbol of your love for her, a forever symbol. Something that you're going to be proud to pass on to your daughter or granddaughter, future generations of your family. Say it with a real diamond, the finest diamonds in the world from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, knock out a final break here of hour number 2. Muse will do a little Tigers in the pros. Mike Triplett in about 30 minutes from right now. LSU played on New Year's Eve. I think there was another game on New Year's Eve. Muse, you're going to have to check the schedule for me, see if I forgot about another game. Maybe we'll run down. We already talked about LSU.
Yeah, we did.
But there were.
You just did playoffs, which there was a playoff game on New Year's Eve.
Oh, Boise Penn State was New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
there was something else on New Year's Eve. I'll check the schedule.
Let's do it.
And then later, maybe You do Tigers in the pros. I'll check the schedule. I think there was something else on New Year's. Some of the other games. We'll get to that. Maybe it was it South Carolina? Is that what I'm thinking of? South Carolina? Or was that another day?
That might. I think that was Monday.
That was the second.
Yeah, or was the second?
Or the 30.
No, it was. It was on New Year's Eve.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com. Hey, heading into a new year, if you know you're going to have turnaround work coming, and look, turnaround season will be here before you know it, I want you to remember the Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries. So remember, the Advanced Turnaround Group, this isn't workers at Action Industries that they're just taking from other projects and throwing into the turnaround world. That's not that. This is a completely separate entity under the Action Industries umbrella that is dedicated to the project managers, the workers. They are committed to turnaround work. These are proficient experts in turnaround work. So if you've got a turnaround job coming, or know you will, I want you to remember the Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries. They'd love to bid your job. It's Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics since 1942. It's Action Industries.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Mike Triplett here in about 20 minutes from right now. Right now, Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Let's start with some NBA action from a night ago. Naz Reid put together a really solid performance for the Timberwolves. He played 26 minutes off the bench, shot 4 of 5 from 3 alone, ended up with 20 points in the ballgame, 5 boards to go along with a 20-point night. And the Timberwolves did, however, fall victim to the Boston Celtics. Saw a return for the Brooklyn Nets. That return being Cam Thomas. Remember, he had been injured for better part of, felt close to a month. Did play 22 minutes off the bench, dropped 24, second leading scorer on the team for the Nets a night ago. Also grabbed 7 rebounds and 2 steals. Good to see him back out there on the floor. A couple of other notes with the Nets. No Ben Simmons last night. That, of course, it was the second half of a back-to-back. They've made it clear with Ben's injury history, he won't be playing night 2 of back-to-backs. And then Trendon Watford still out with the left hamstring strain. You'll remember as well, this kept him out a good bit before the season and through camp and the start of the regular season. He did make a return, but now back on the shelf. Lastly, injury update from the NFL. Arden Key officially out for the Tennessee Titans this week. That ends Arden's season. He's dealing with a hand.
He's got a hand?
He's got a hand. He's got a hand. So no Arden Key for Tennessee here in Week 18. Doesn't matter. They stink anyway. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Dozens of different industries. I always encourage you, start at the website, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. You can see all the different industries they serve, the many different services they provide. If you need your precision measurement equipment calibrated, they can help. They can even come on site. If you have equipment that can't leave or you don't want to leave your facility, Michelli can help. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. It's 6 different calibration labs in Louisiana alone, more than 30 from sea to shining sea. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, it's after further review. We are glad you're hanging out with us here. Mike Triplett's coming up in 20 minutes from right now. We'll talk about the Saints. If you missed it, no Carr, no Kendre Miller Sunday against the Bucks. Kamara, doubtful. We'll see if he can get out there. More of that from Mike Triplett in about 20 minutes on AFR.
AFR.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Brack, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news saying that the Dodgers were the priority. Outfielder Teoscar Hernandez will re-sign with the team for 3 years and $66 million. Hernandez played the 2024 season on a one-year deal. The last game of the regular season in the NFL will be Detroit against Minnesota Sunday night for the #1 seed in the NFC. Lions coach Dan Campbell.
We love competition. And this is going to be one of these all-out, come to the end of the line type games. And so we know what we're getting ready to play and what we're getting ready to face, And so we're looking forward to this competition.
Dan Campbell, whose Lions will host that game. Commanders corner Marshawn Lattimore out for Sunday against the Cowboys with a sore left hamstring, same injury that kept him out 5 games earlier. ESPN's Shams Charania reports Kings rookie Devin Carter, the 13th pick in the draft, will make his NBA debut tonight. He'll play against the Grizzlies, where his brother, Anthony, is now an assistant coach.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Commercial Insurance. It flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Woo! Muse, thank God it's 5 o'clock. Quitting time. 1 hour to go before we're into this weekend. I mean,
you've had a long one.
This week has been a haul.
What can you say?
Sometimes Muse weeks fly by. Sometimes they drag on.
Yeah.
And then there's others that feel like you're just lugging boulders up a hill. You know what I mean?
I do.
That's a week like this one for me. I haven't done a show since, I don't even remember, Muse.
December.
It's a Friday, the 20th.
Yeah, December 20th.
Friday, December the 20th. Yeah, Paul, what are you talking about? You were out that day. Paul, you ain't been here longer than I've been here.
Facts.
Shut up, Paul. What are you talking about?
He didn't say anything.
Yeah. Oh, you're defending him?
He didn't say anything, though. You can't tell him to shut up. He didn't say anything.
Shut up, Paul. Of all the times that he
fair.
backs
No,
me,
that's
crapping
true.
on
Shut
you,
up,
and
Paul.
finally you're like, you get a chance to grab whatever you want.
Shut up, Paul.
Shut up, Paul.
Good point.
I'm glad Paul's back, actually. Oh. Hey, Muse.
Yeah.
So on New Year's Eve, there was some game. LSU played on New Year's Eve.
1-2.
They did. So T-Bob and I did whiskey and wine after the LSU game. Not sure if you noticed, but T-Bob was wearing a wig with a beard. Did you miss that?
I did. I did miss this.
Well, thanks for watching the show, jerk.
I was busy.
We know you don't do anything.
Oh, I was busy. It's okay. Continue, T-Bob.
So T-Bob's wearing this giant wig, and it's a wig and a beard, and he's smoking a cigar.
Okay.
And so I'm looking at that going, man, this feels like it could be really hazardous because he's got the lit cigar in this giant wig with the beard and everything is protruding away from his face. And I'm thinking, man, if this thing catches on fire, like I'm going to have to look. I mean, this was us. Look, there it is. Like when he's got the cigar lit, I'm thinking, man, that thing, as it continues to protrude, it could become quite hazardous. And then it would be a fire. And then I'm like, what do we do if T-Bob lights himself on fire? There he is with the cigar.
Yeah, look at that.
Look, there's so much smoke. I mean, it felt bad. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I've seen fires like this. Fires ablaze in conjunction and coordination with SEC football. And perhaps none bigger than the raging fire emanating from Brian Dennehy Stadium in Tuscaloosa. This was actually so much fun, actually watching this game. What a great way to finish 2024. You know how 2024 began? Do you remember? 2024 began with me in this chair, in this very chair, live on this show, when Nick Saban announced his retirement, when Chris Lowe broke that news. I interrupted Russ Mitchell mid-sentence, told him to shut his face. I celebrated running around this studio, lost my voice for 2 weeks as a result. And you wondered why. Why? Because I knew then in that instant, this fate, the reality now, was unavoidable. The story had been written. I told you then. Your dynasty was over. I told you then. It was never going to be as good as it once was. You have experienced the pinnacle of your life. You do not lose the greatest coach ever. You do not lose half your roster. You do not lose all of that and just don't miss a beat. Oh, you didn't like to hear that. No, you didn't. You all have called me every name in the book. You all have written every vile thing imaginable about me, my family, everything you can imagine. Things I can't even say on this air right now. But steadfast I went, staring all of you right in the face because I knew what was written. And what was written is what has transpired this season. And every damn one of you knows when you put your head on your pillow at night that everything I have said about you and your beloved Crimson Tide was balls on accurate. What a gift. What a gift. One more time before the calendar turned to 2025 to watch Alabama with Jalen Milroe under center as a 16.5-point favorite against a Michigan team that beat you a year ago in the national semifinal, now without 8 defensive starters. The game starts, you get stuffed on a 4th down, and then the comedy of errors began with Jalen Milroe.
And ball security, ball's out. Michigan has it.
That was one. Oh, but he wasn't done.
That throw tipped up and intercepted. It's another Alabama turnover.
Why not 3?
Milroe back to pass. Ball comes out. It's on the turf. Picked up by Michigan. Again.
In a blink, every one of you knew, going through your brain, everything I have said about your program, your coach, your quarterback, your reality in life, every one of you knew it was accurate. You were a 23-point favorite against Vanderbilt, and you gave up 40 points in a construction zone and lost to Vanderbilt, a 6-6 Vanderbilt football team. You went to Norman, Oklahoma with your playoff hopes on the line as a 2-touchdown favorite, and your ass couldn't even get in the end zone. All you managed was a field goal against an Oklahoma team that couldn't move the football, and you got your ass kicked. And for good measure, why not one more time? With Jalen Milroe, with Ryan Williams, with Jaheed Campbell. You go down to the ReliaQuest Bowl and you piss down your leg. 4 turnovers in 10 plays. You lose to a Michigan team, a 500 Michigan team, a 2-touchdown underdog Michigan team. And for the first time, appropriately, since Nick Saban's been on campus, you failed to get to 10 wins. You suffered 4 losses. That hadn't happened since Nick's first year. It was 2007, the last time you lost 4 games. Irreplaceable by Beyonce was the #1 song in America. Spider-Man 3 was the #1 movie in America. I don't even remember that was about. What was Spider-Man 3 even about? Did anybody watch Spider-Man 3?
I don't think I did.
I just remember the one where Tobey Maguire was upside down and kissed the hot chick.
Yeah, that wasn't 3.
From the Bring It On movie.
Right.
You want to know what happened in 2007, the last time Alabama lost 4 games? The iPhone debuted. Britney Spears shaved her head. Prince played halftime of the Super Bowl. RIP. Anna Nicole Smith died. There was the Writers Guild strike. That was so long ago, the Spice Girls had their reunion tour. Not whenever they had it was their reunion tour in 2007. That's how long it's been. That's your reality now, and you know it. The goofball that hosts Locked On Bama knows it too.
This episode is brought to you by depression. Every time I think things can't get worse, they get worse.
Oh, they're going to get much worse. Jalen Milroe going to the draft. Tyler Booker going to the draft. Jaheed Campbell going to the draft. 20 guys in the portal again. Kalen DeBose fired his defensive coordinator. Oh, I'm sure the SMU kid you flipped is going to be awesome because true freshman quarterbacks with nobody around them and bad coaches crush it all the time in college football, don't they? Sure. Why don't you go to Norman and ask their redshirt freshman quarterback they banked everything on how that went? 6-6, his ass is at Auburn now. That Cal College down the road. Be careful laughing at them. Oh, reality is set in. J. Brandon Evans on Twitter replied to me, hell, I ain't even mad anymore. We suck. Oh, I have beaten you into submission. I have beaten you down and the reality is set in for all of you.
He looked like a guy who doesn't want to be drafted, unless it's by the military or something.
Roll Tide 99. I tweeted Mill, LOL, ROE. His reply, couldn't do anything right on offense. Our offense handed the ball to Michigan like candy. O-line is like Swiss cheese. Oh, the reality is settling in.
DeBoer, I don't know where to start there. He's on the hot seat if you ask me.
Hot seat talk. One season, hot seat talk. It's like if you slap someone in the face and they get pissed. And you slap them in the face again and they come back pissed off again. And you slap them in the face a third time. And now all of a sudden you see him quiver a little. And you slap him in the face a fourth time. And then a little tear starts to roll as it swells in their eye. And you slap him in the face again. And now they're crying. Full-on tears streaming down the face. But you don't show mercy. You slap them across the face again. Now they're in hysterics. And you don't relent. You slap them in the face again. And you keep slapping them in the face over and over and over again till finally they all just quit. They quit and say no mas. I can't take it anymore. You are right. You're the king. You sit atop the throne. We're lowly handmaids. May I wash your feet, please? That's the reality of every Alabama fan today. Reality is set in. You know it's over. You know everything that I have prophesied about from this chair on this microphone for a year. Everything I have said was right. Everything I have said has come true. Everything I have said is accurate. And I have slapped you in the face with this Bama is burning bits so many times that all of you now, the second anything goes wrong in your beloved program, the first thing you think about is me. And if you think just because you've all acknowledged it now, just because you all are whimpering right now, just because you all know you're in a dark, low place that I'm going to relent, you are outside of your mind. Because for 17 years, we all had to listen to it. For 17 years. And an eternity of hell that will follow football hell. An eternity of football hell will follow all of you. I told you for a decade Nick Saban made a deal with the devil. And the devil has come to collect. This is your new reality.
AFR.
Do I have to do the live read now? Okay.
Yeah, Rouse's.
Oh, Rouse's! King Cakes! Oh, that was so much fun. Oh, we're so late. Did you tell Triplett we're late? We're so late. Tell my Triplett, sorry we're late. That was worth it, though. Hey, Rouse's, y'all. Oh, my goodness. Rouse's King Cakes. Do you love King Cakes? Do you love King Cakes?
I do. I love King.
I love King Cakes so much. Rouse's has King Cakes, y'all. Go to the website, or just go, better yet, don't even go to the website. Just go to Rouse's and get King Cakes. It's that time, y'all. Go to Rouse's, get your King Cakes. This is awesome. I couldn't be any more excited. It's that time of year. Rouses.com, if you want to learn more, Rouses.com. They get the best king cake on the Gulf Coast. And you can go get your king cakes right now at Rouses. 70 Rouses locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach. Get king cakes at Rouses.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Mike! Yeah?
New Orleans Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football. Presented by Benny's Car Wash. Family owned and operated since 1951.
Mercifully, Saints season will end on Sunday. Mike Triplett's here. Happy New Year, Mike. How are you?
Happy New Year. Look, has a new year ever been more important to a franchise?
I'm sure, I don't know for this franchise, but for other franchises, quite possibly. Let's get the obligatory stuff for this game out of the way so we can talk about stuff people actually want to talk about. No Carr, we're assuming no Kamara, so and Olave is questionable. Who are we expecting to be the main contributors on Sunday?
Oh, my goodness. Well, we've got Spencer Rattler starting again at quarterback, which is interesting because we've shifted our page to the future of this team, and still every chance we get to find out, what he looks like. I think it was promising that he had a good half last week. He needs to have more than a good half, but obviously all judgment will be reserved on him till next year. But at least it's something about the future. Maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire could be part of this team's future. I think he'll probably be the lead back in this game. But man, it's hard to it's hard to get excited about much else beyond that.
Do you have any observations? Have you been able to make any observations about Spencer Rattler through 5 starts?
I don't have anything conclusive on Spencer Rattler through 5 starts. I mean, there might just be a certain threshold he's never able to fully overcome, but I do like that it hasn't looked too big for him in the sense that, like, hey, if they decided, I don't think this is what they'll do. I don't know for sure this is what they'll do, but if they did decide, hey, let's roll with him next year. I mean, I always keep coming up with Will Levis as an example, which is not a very promising one since he got benched this year. But like, hey, let's make Will Levis or shoot, you could say Aiden O'Connell, the Raiders quarterback who just came into the Dome and beat the crap out of the Saints. Like, if you decided that's what you want to do next year, I think that's feasible. I think he could be your starting quarterback going into next year while you rebuild and think about the future and see if he wants to make you rethink drafting another one a year later. You know, and there's obviously a lot of highs we've seen. We've seen a lot of great throws on the run, throws while jumping, throws while outside of the pocket, making things happen, big arm strength and the poise and all that. So I'd like to see more of them.
With the Bucs or the Falcons, I mean, obviously what happens in Tampa will determine who's going to win the division going into the playoffs. Is there a preference for New Orleans, which you'd rather see happen?
I don't think it matters in any meaningful way. I mean, there's obviously the best thing you could do for your fan base is knock the Falcons out of the playoffs because they hate the Falcons more, and the best thing you could do for your fan base is lose the game so you can get a higher draft pick. But I think the Saints' preference would be to play well and win their last game going into the offseason. So that's their preference. Our preference is to be different.
I'm sorry. Have you looked at the draft order? Like, is there a scenario where this? I thought they couldn't go higher than 10th. Is there a scenario where they could?
No,
draft?
they can. They can't do worse than 10th, which is good. So if they win, they stay at 10th. There are ways they could get up to 9th or 8th if the Raiders win, which is actually possible. Like, if you really want to get into this for fun, root for Pittsburgh to win on Saturday, which means the Chargers would have nothing to play for on Sunday, and then maybe the Raiders could beat the Chargers, and then the other one is the Bears. If the Bears win a game against the Packers, if they decide to pull their starters and don't care about seeding, the Saints could move ahead of the Bears. And then there's an outside chance the Saints could move ahead of the Jets, but it would come down to some percentage points things happening that's too sophisticated for me. So Raiders win or Bears win are the two best ways to move up 1 or 2 spots.
Okay, Mike Triplett's with us, NewOrleans.football, on Twitter at Mike Triplett. Of course, our chats all season long are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. Visit bennyscarwash.com, bennyscarwash.com. Okay, so they'll play a game on Sunday, and then the result will be what it is, and the season will be over mercifully, and they'll move on. Everyone's talking about what happens. The biggest order of business will be the coaching search. Do you see any scenario where Darren Rizzi could get the job?
I mean, I cannot rule it out. It seems unlikely to me. I think he had to really, really, really defy expectations and be above and beyond, and just hasn't been able to do that. Obviously, got a lot of good qualities, but he hasn't been able to walk on water and lead this team beyond its reality. So I think of him as a dark horse, but I think he'll get an interview and be considered. And I can't completely rule it out, but odds are stacked against him, I think.
How much stock do you put into the John Gruden reports?
I mean, he may get consideration. I would be pretty surprised if he was the final answer. Not because I think the Saints would be like philosophically opposed to it, but just like his candidacy doesn't seem super strong to me. It's a what have you done for me lately league, and he's been out of it for a while, and he wasn't having overwhelming success before that. But, I mean, Mike McCarthy, I don't know if you're going to ask about him too, like John Gruden, Mike McCarthy, there's no excitement whatsoever that I don't think either of those names would generate from the fan base, but they have winning in their history, and, if a team's going to think outside the box, I guess it's going to be the same.
Could the Gruden pairing with Derek Carr make sense if the Saints are committed? Maybe that's a better question, is are the Saints committed to Derek Carr? And could that make sense with Gruden and Carr?
Yeah, I mean, I'm writing about that. You'll see it on the website by the end of the night. I don't think they should be. And I think of myself as one of the bigger Derek Carr supporters. I think Derek Carr is in a tier of quarterbacks that if the situation is right, he's a good choice for your team. And we're seeing that around the league a lot. Like, the Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson, if you've got a good team, you can win with them. But I do not want to see the Saints pay $40 million for a quarterback next year. I don't want to see them make their coaching hire based on building around a 34-year-old quarterback who costs $40 million, has had some injury issues. So I hope that's not the direction of the team. But I mean, that is a reason why he may be considered.
Do you think Derek Carr will be back?
If I had to bet on it, I would say yes. If they let me make the decision, I would say only if he took a substantial pay cut. Now, I would keep him. I would keep him over other veteran options that cost about the same amount of money if he was going to take a major pay cut. But like I said, I don't think Derek Carr should want to go into free agency and have to pick another team. I think there's some things that have been a good fit for him here, but there's no way I'm paying anywhere near $40 million for a quarterback who's not the answer for my team right now with the state of this team.
Is there a way financially out from under that? My understanding is that you look at the dead cap money, it's going to be $50 million next year if he's not here.
Well, I mean, his cap number is $51 million. His dead number would be $50 million. So, yes, it can be done. The problem is you can't then use his contract to do your restructure, and you would pretty much literally have to restructure every other contract on the team just to get under the cap. Now, you'd be out from under Carr's deal in 1 year if you did that. So, there's a light at the end of the tunnel if you do that. But you can't really sign any other free agents or anything. Now, there's also creative ways to do it. You could give him a little parting gift and say, hey, will you lower your salary to the league minimum on the way out the door so we can get some cap relief, and we'll give you, we'll let you keep your $10 million bonus as a parting gift. I mean, they did that with Michael Thomas on his way out. He got $1 million for lowering his salary. They do that when players retire. They did that with Drew Brees and Malcolm Jenkins. So there are ways they could do it and make it worth his while. So they're not forced to keep him if they don't want to.
Okay. So what about a timeline, pivoting back to the Derek Carr conversation came as we were talking about Gruden, pivoting back to the coaching search, timeline for when they might like to have something done?
On the coaching search or Carr?
Well, I guess both, but let's start with the coaching search.
I mean, I think coach comes first. I think Carr is obviously part of those conversations. The team sharing its vision with the coach sharing his vision with the team. Do they align? Would they be willing to make a different decision than what they're leaning toward based on what a coach wants? And I'm very curious. I mean, I could see coaches wanting to keep Carr. I could see coaches wanting to be like, hey, I can come in and win the NFC South. I believe in myself. You give me a couple free agents here and there, and you give me Derek Carr, I'm going to go win you 10 games. There might be coaches that feel that way. There might be coaches that don't want, you're getting rid of Derek Carr and signing 0 free agents while you catch up on the cap, so I'm going to go 3-14 this year. Great. But at the same time, if New Orleans is a place where you could feel pretty comfortable, they're going to give you time and patience. So if they say, hey, this is year 1 of the 3-year plan, but we're going to let you have time to build it, I'd like to see that be the plan, and it's possible. So I think the coaching conversations, the vision of this team, the long-term planning for what this team is going to look like come first, and Carr comes second.
Okay. And Mike Triplett, 2 more things. New Orleans Football on Twitter at Mike Triplett. Is there a name that you like realistic that they could hire? Or if not a name, just what style of coach, meaning young offensive coach, a retread, a defensive coach, something like that? Yeah,
look, I think there's 2 names that stand above that everyone would celebrate as a wow, I can't believe they got that guy. And they're 2 different styles. One is Mike Vrabel, who I think is the proven coach in this year's class that I think should have his choice of teams probably, and therefore I don't think it will be the Saints. And the other is Ben Johnson, the offensive wonderkin from Detroit, who's been picky about where he wants to go and might only take one or two interviews, and that might not be the Saints. So those two would be defying expectations. But I think they're in play for everybody else. Aaron Glenn is considered one of the top candidates in this cycle. He's coming from, one of the most successful organizations the last few years, and everyone wants a piece of that in Detroit. Plus, he has all the ties to New Orleans. So I think he's probably the front runner in my mind. I think Brian Flores is another one. They interviewed last time around. He's doing an incredible job with that Minnesota defense. I think he could be in play. I do think Mike McCarthy and John Gruden are names to monitor that could be in play. And then, there's always some unexpected ones. There's always some young coordinators that not everyone thinks about. I feel like there was one more name that I was thinking makes sense. I know Pete Carroll's maybe in the cycle. I don't know if that had come to fruition. But the one good thing I think, though, is I really think there's only going to be 6 or 7 hires this time around. And I think that could benefit the Saints, that it's not one of those years with 11 or 12 openings. So I do think they will get decent caliber of choices to choose from. And
we're convinced Mickey Loomis will make the hire?
Yeah, I think so. Now, the thing I would like to see is that maybe there are front office structure changes along with the hire. Like, I would love it if he brought in a Dan Campbell and a Brad Holmes duo that are going to work under him in a different type of structure, and he's going to let them have a different way of looking at personnel and collaborate together. I don't think I expect that, but I would like to see. I want clear acknowledgement from the Saints that, look, he did not make a good hire with Dennis Allen, but that was the hire I would have picked too. So I can't criticize that. The thinking at the time was, hey, we've had the best record in the league the last 4 years. We've won at least 7 games, nearly 20 years in a row. We like our culture. We're not looking for drastic change. I hope this year it shows that they recognize they need drastic change this time.
Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football, on Twitter at Mike Triplett. Of course, our chats all season are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. Look about your Benny's Car Wash membership club pricing over at bennyscarwash.com, bennyscarwash.com. Mike, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, be well. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com, maybe 2025. Part of your New Year's resolution, one of your targets in 2025 is going to be to buy land. Land is a finite resource. It's never going down in value, at least over the course of human history. Land has never gone down in value. It's worth more today than it was yesterday. It'll be worth more 10 years from now than it is today. Maybe ask your CPA the benefits of owning recreational timberland. Maybe you live in New Orleans and you're looking to move to the North Shore, build that home, and commute into the city. Lots of people do that. You want 100 acres in Tangipahoa? They got an office in a meet where they can help you out. You buy your land, build your house there. You get all the city amenities, but the rural lifestyle. First South Farm Credit can help. FirstSouthland.com, FirstSouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit because for more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has helped Louisianians buy land. So go to FirstSouthland.com. That's FirstSouthland.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Couple segments to go. What to watch in the NFL weekend. We'll get you a pick on the Saints. We'll wrap up with Ask Us and what we learned. So if you want to get questions in from you, Paulie, or me, you can. Theriot was here earlier in the show. If you want to catch that, you can get it on demand. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, the Watermark Hotel downtown. Big shout out to David and the whole crew over at the Watermark. Our operations manager here, a friend, afternoon drive host on Eagle 98.1, Michelle Southern. She and her husband stay at the Watermark downtown for New Year's Eve, had a New Year's celebration. They said, Matt, what can you tell us about the Watermark? It's exquisite. There's just no better hotel in Baton Rouge. So if you're having a cause to go out in downtown Baton Rouge and you want to stay at the Watermark Hotel. Maybe it's for Mardi Gras balls or Mardi Gras parades that are going to be coming up. Think ahead to that. You're going to be going out in downtown. Make a night of it. Make a full day and a night of it at the Watermark Hotel. If you have family coming in town, make sure they know about the Watermark. It's Baton Rouge's premier hotel property, voted by you and everyone the best hotel in the best of 225. The Gregory, which is the restaurant right there in the lobby of the Watermark, great with a charcoal oven indoors. It's crazy, the aromas. It's all there at the Watermark Hotel.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
There's a lot of storylines to watch in Week 18 in the NFL. Look, you're going to have some teams who are eliminated, other teams who have their seeding known. So they'll rest players, notably, the Chiefs have locked up the #1 seed in the AFC, so Patrick Mahomes won't play. Carson Wentz will start this weekend. I have a keen interest on the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Pittsburgh Steelers because, as we all do our picks preseason, the Bengals were my pick to win the Super Bowl this year. They still have a path at 8-8 right now to get into the playoffs. They are at Pittsburgh, so they'll have to win and get a little help. They'll need Miami and Denver both to lose, which is possible, but it starts with going on the road to Pittsburgh and winning. But what's at stake is the Steelers can clinch the AFC North and the #3 seed with a win, and if the Ravens lose to the Browns. Now, the Ravens are a 20-point favorite over the Cleveland Browns, so it's unlikely that Cleveland's going to win that game, and so maybe Pittsburgh doesn't go full bore in this game, and it leaves the door open for Cincinnati to win. But if you want to see Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, those guys get in the postseason, it's easy. The Bengals have to win, and then you have to have Denver and Miami both lose. If that happens, then the Bengals are in. And what was interesting, I did see this on Twitter a bit ago. In the last 24 hours, there have been more bets on the Bengals to win the Super Bowl than any other team in the last 24 hours. So when you just look at who's sitting, who's resting, who's playing, the thought is if Cincinnati gets in, they could make a hell of a run at it. And so you're getting great value at the Bengals with plus 24,000, meaning you bet $100, you'd win 24,000 if the Bengals won the Super Bowl. So they're a long shot. But if they find a way to get in, they could be dangerous. So maybe some value there on Cincinnati. Of course, we'll keep an eye on the NFC South as well. The Saints head to Tampa, and that division is up for grabs with Tampa and Atlanta. It's pretty easy. If Tampa beats the Saints, Tampa wins the division. If Tampa loses to the Saints, then the Falcons win the division and go on to the playoffs. I always say that, listen, I won't cheer against my team unless if losing is a direct benefit to my team. So, I would never cheer for my team to lose a game. This is one of those instances, though, where I think the Saints losing actually helps. A Saints win and getting to 6-11 doesn't do anything materially for you. You're out of the playoffs. I don't know that a win in Tampa does anything long-term for you. What I would be fearful of, quote-unquote fearful, that's probably not even, that's too strong of a word, hesitant, is if Atlanta does win the division, then Michael Penix gets to go get playoff experience. And listen, I know what Baker Mayfield is. But the Bucs won the division last year. This isn't new for them. Tampa winning the division with Baker and advancing. They did it last year with Baker. So that would be nothing new if they won the division and advanced. But Atlanta winning the division and Penix getting playoff experience is something I don't want to see. So I think it's one of those instances where the Saints losing, the possibility of getting a better draft pick, as Mike Triplett told us, you could get as high as 8. So if the Saints lose, the Raiders and the Bears both win, the Saints could go as high as 8, but you won't go any lower than 10th. Losing probably is better. Big picture in the macro for New Orleans. Remember, the Saints played Tampa earlier this year. Rattler got the start. And it was a game where in the first half, Spencer Rattler actually looked pretty good. The Saints got down 17-0. And then, boom, the offense caught fire, had a 27-point second quarter. And then the avalanche came. The Saints lost 51-27. And the offense never got in gear under Rattler the rest of the way. After that 51-27 loss to Tampa, they lost 33-10 on Thursday night to the Broncos, then played the Chargers and lost 26-8. So over the next 10 quarters, they scored 18 points. I don't know that it's definitively better. You're not going to have Derek Carr. Alvin Kamara is doubtful for this game. We know there's no Taysom Hill. It's all the things that we've talked about. You're down a couple of offensive linemen. I just don't know how we materially look at the Saints as a 2-touchdown underdog with a bunch of backups on offense going on the road to Tampa, a team that's playing to win the division and playing for their playoff lives. I don't know how we could think the Saints are going to go on the road and magically play great and win this game. It's all the things we've talked about now all season. You've got a team that's been injured all season, even at their best, isn't very good. I don't assume they're going to be any better on Sunday. I think the Saints will lose. I'm not going to take a stab at a score. It's when you have this many backups playing, I don't fool around with point spreads and betting games like this. Look, if you want to go bet Cleveland and take 20 points and hope that Cleveland somehow finds a way to keep that game with Baltimore close, God bless you. I'm not that big of a degenerate that I would care to wager anything on that game. But this is one I'll watch. I'll continue to watch to see if Spencer Rattler plays well. I'll see how Clyde Edwards-Helaire does, and probably a starring role with Kendre Miller out and Alvin Kamara doubtful. It's probably a heavy load for Clyde in this game, which would be cool to see him play. You can watch some of the veterans because you don't know. A guy like Cam Jordan or Tyrann Mathieu. Could they be playing their last game for the New Orleans Saints? Maybe. So those are things that are subplots worth watching, but the game itself, there's not a whole lot there. The bigger and more interesting conversation involving the New Orleans Saints is what they're going to do in hiring their next head coach and the direction the organization is going to take. And that's something that will dominate headlines Sunday starting at 3:05 as soon as that game goes final down in Tampa. But I do expect the Bucs to win. Hopefully the Raiders and Bears play well and win, and the Saints are able to move up to the 8th spot in the draft and be in as good a position as possible to start moving the organization forward. But just really feel with all the bad contracts, this is an organization that's going to keep going backwards before it can start moving forward again. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Hey, if we're in the new year, one of your New Year's resolutions is going to be to give yourself the gift of sight. Your first call needs to be over to the Williamson Eye Center. Your only call. Go for that consultation, then meet with Dr. Blake Williamson. Go over all your options. Let him explain why a refractive procedure might be the best option for you. I was told for years I wasn't a great candidate for LASIK. Factually inaccurate. Met with Dr. Blake. I was a perfect candidate for LASIK. I'm almost 6 years removed now from LASIK, and I could not be happier. It's an amazing decision that I made in my life, and it's incredible to wake up in the morning and just see. You want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, you can do it. The Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, we're going to have a quick wrap here on the show. We'll do that next on AFR.
After further review.
Y'all, 2025 is here. Duplessis Builders looking to do awesome work. I'm excited for our partnership with Duplessis Builders and excited to tell you so much more throughout the next months, throughout the next year about Duplessis Builders, and encourage you that here as we move past the holidays, if you're thinking about a pool, an outdoor kitchen, and you want that thing ready to go for swim season, call now. A lot of people wait till the holidays are past because you don't want, construction going on in your backyard during the holidays. Understand that. Well, the holidays are in the rearview mirror, and it is time to get serious. If you're thinking about a pool and you want it ready for swim time, you have to call now because remember, there's the design process. Then there's permitting. Then there's getting on the schedule. And then there's the build-out, which the build-out itself, Derek and his staff will tell you, it's going to take 2 months from start to completion. So start that process now. DuplessisBuilders.net. Online, it's DuplessisBuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, Our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They serve.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR. Big shout out to Don Juan Cigar Bar. Had a great time there all season long for our whiskey and wine, T-Bob and I, after every LSU game. If you missed whiskey and wine after LSU and Baylor, you can check it out. It's there on YouTube. Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. You miss anything on the show, you can always get it there. AFR on demand. You could search AFR LSU or AFR Saints if you want individual LSU or Saints content either on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. And, of course, the full shows are podcasts as well, brought to you by Breck Golf. One note we didn't get to today, Jerylan McCoy, an Under Armour All-American, committed to LSU. He's a 2026 defensive lineman, committed to LSU at the Under Armour All-America game. This was him explaining why he picked the Tigers.
Man, it's just a family ever since I was little. They've just been showing me since they offered me. It's been good ever since. I'm speechless right now. I just want to thank the LSU community, the fans, the coaches. Let's go Tigers!
Jerylan McCoy is a four-star defensive lineman for the class of 2026. Kevin Peoples and Blake Baker were the primary recruiters there. He's a 6'7", 245-pound defensive lineman who's going to play very likely on the edge. I guess he could always put on size and move to the interior, but already getting a big start there on the 2026 class. I understand some of the skepticism to say, you're not going to get excited about commitments because what do commitments mean right now? And there's some truth to that. I can understand it. But this kid from Mississippi kept away from Ole Miss. He also had Tennessee and Southern Cal in his finalists. So hold on to him. But a really good start. 6 commits already for the class of 2026 for the Tigers. All right, that'll do it for us here on this Friday edition of AFR. Muse Pauly, thanks. Y'all have an awesome weekend. We'll look forward to being back to a full week, a regular week, when we come back after this weekend. We'll see you Monday at 3 on AFR.
After Further Review.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all, and we move into a new year, and I'm so fired up to be able to tell you about Relief Windows again this year like I have every year for the last decade. Relief Windows, ReliefWindows.com. Yes, they're windows, and windows are a commodity. There's a lot of different companies that can sell you a window. But when we talk about Brandon and Adrian Holly, what they specialize in is customer satisfaction. That's not just a tagline. It's not just lip service. You understand it with every part of the process with Relief Windows. Yes, they sell a premium product. Beautiful doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. Everything about the experience from the first call to the completion is first class, and that's why they're never going to be the cheapest, but you will always be thrilled with the quality of work they do and the finished product. They guarantee it. That's why you never pay anything up front until they're finished. It's ReliefWindows.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with